Hey everyone, it's Robert and you're watching Sidestep Adventures. Today we're out in rural Georgia, in the woods, at another cemetery, once again. But today is a different video. We're actually in Sumter County, Georgia, and Brian is doing a video. It's going to be on the Sidestep Adventures channel, but he's doing the video all by himself, sort of a separate project. And it's going to be on Sumter County and some of the history and sites and stuff around here. And I've seen the preview of the video that he's got so far, and it's really good. He's put a lot of time and effort into it, and you'll definitely love it. I can already guarantee you that. But so Cody and I tagged along with Brian today as he goes out and shoots, and we're going to go to some of the places he's going to go and explore them a little bit, but not too much, so you'll see him in his video when he gets finished. Let me make sure I'm not spoiling his shot right now. Let's take a look around and keep out of Brian's way. So while Brian is back there filming, take a look. I see a couple older graves over here. Take a look at those real quick. That's 2005. It's not too terribly old. Looks like this is going to be a soldier's grave over here. Let's see if we can take a look at it. This is Willie Kitchen. Fought in World War II and died in 1955. Not an extremely old grave. We're kind of in disrepair. Forgotten about in this corner of the cemetery. Look here. A little orb weaver spider. I don't know how well you can see it on the video, but it's right there. These spiders are kind of creepy looking. I actually think they're really cool, really pretty, but they're just good garden spiders, and we'll leave them be. A couple interesting tombstones right here. Headstones. Just handmade. And got all this moss on them, so can't really read what they said. It's another handmade grave, and it's 1932. It's kind of hard to read. I can't make it out at all. Sometimes it's easier to see on video. Can adjust the contrast and all. But yeah, that's just another old homemade grave. You see that a lot, especially Depression era and in poor communities. But what I saw, I was just walking back here, and you see I'm on what looks like the outer edge of the cemetery over here. Oh, there's another one right there. But if you look, it looks like I'm on the edge of the cemetery, and I was walking this way and saw one right out there in the woods. So, man, these spiders are everywhere out here. We gotta bother this one's nest. He ran up there and hid. I wonder why this one is so far out. You've got this nice little stand of a couple cedar trees. This looks like an older grave. The writing's on the back. It's actually not as old as I thought it was. On a lot of the much older graves, you see the the writing, like pre-1860 graves have the writing on the back of the headstone, which this would be the back, because as you can see there's the end of the grave over there, and modern graves have the writing on the other side of the headstone. Probably did a poor job of explaining that, but I thought this was older one because of that, but it's not. 1914. And I thought that was the only one out here in the woods on the edge of the cemetery, but it's not. There's another one right here. Man, we always find these forgotten graves and it breaks my heart. And just to show you that this isn't that old of a grave, this is 1951. It's a, I can't read that first name. See if I can feel what letter that is. I can't really. With Tyson, looks like 1876 to 1951. There's another one right there. So that grave was not that long ago, but is completely overgrown here in what looks like a forgotten part of this cemetery. From what you saw where we walked through earlier, I thought the cemetery was somewhat well kept. Of course, there's the feet markings for the grave we just saw, and one beside it where the headstone has been knocked off. Let's look and see what else is back here. Oh yeah, there's another one right there. Well, Brian doesn't know about these. I need to let him know so he can film them for his video, but I found them first, so they get to go on my video. Old gate. Oh, look at these right here. Wow, it just keeps, there's more and more. The further I walk back here in these woods, there's more and more. This is John, looks like Pullum. And this is a it's older grave, 1887, age 50 years. This one's fallen off. I'm not going to be able to read that. I can barely make it out. It's got so much growth on it. Up there, covered under those muscadine vines, there's another one right there. There's three more. See if we can make out a name here. I can't. Might be able to see it better on the video. Looks like died 1901. That one might have a marking under all the leaves. This is an older one. 1823, James Pullum, P-U-L-L-U-M. Well, this is pretty cool. When we first came up to this cemetery, because this is actually one of the reasons we came out here, Brian had found this cemetery and he's been doing video on this part of the county. And there's a bottle dump over there. I'll go check that out in a minute too. Oh, bottle dump in a cemetery. He's been doing video on this part of the county, and he saw this cemetery on Google Maps and wanted to film it. And it he thought it was just a kept cemetery, as I did too when we came up to it, because of that first part that looks well kept. But obviously not. And this was, it's kind of interesting. The cemetery comes out. I don't see any other graves out here. I do see this bottle dump. I don't see any other graves out here past that last one we just saw. So it looks like it stops right here and turns into a place where they used to dump their trash. Let's see. I'll show you some of the trash I'm seeing on the ground here. And that's really interesting that a community dump would be so close to a cemetery. So let's take a look. As you can see, there's another one of the spiders. I'm gonna duck down and try not to mess up his web. You see you've got trash that's spilled out here, and just right there's a cemetery. Like I said, we're gonna look at this bottle dump over here. Whoa, almost ran into a spider web. Just a little one. Yeah, I saw this vase. I thought it was a vase for flowers from the cemetery. Saw it back there, and that's what I thought it was until I saw over here. You can see trash sticking out of the ground right here. And the bottle dump. And I think this community was started, if I remember, the 1920s. All those details will be on Brian's video. So I don't expect to find anything too old out here, and I'm not really gonna dig into it too much, but man, I sure do love a bottle dump. Yeah, so you've got a new plastic Clorox bottle in there, and I don't even know where to start. That one's pretty cool. Screw top. I'll just leave it be. Most all of my collection is cork top bottles. I hate to walk on these bottles under my feet. Some kind of writing on there. Some kind of soda bottle. Ginger ale Canada Dry. You see, this stuff isn't very old, but it's still cool nonetheless. The Edwin M. Knowles China Company, made in the USA. And just think, that bowl used to serve somebody in their house. Which is probably long gone. Here's a Clorox. Old glass Clorox bottle. It's a Coca-Cola. Or a piece of Coca-Cola. And you see, that's a newer bottle too, so. Like I said, I don't really expect to find anything too old out here. And of course the older stuff is going to be underneath all of these newer bottles and cans and stuff, and we're not going to dig that up. But it's cool. And I love a bottle dump. I wasn't expecting to find one so close to a cemetery either. We've got a little roadway back here. Looks like a property line. Another little pile of bottles over there. Watch my feet. Make sure Joe No Shoulders isn't hiding in here. Look at that. I think that's a piece of an old toy. Alright, well, cool. Just wanted to... wasn't expecting that. Not by a cemetery. So we're going to catch back up with Brian, and I'm going to let him know about the graves in the woods, and so we can film those. And he's got some more places that he wants to film out here, so we'll see you there. So Brian sent me a message and told me he was back at the car. I walked back up to the road and the car's gone. So I heard it going up this way, then I heard the door close. There he is. There he is. He thinks he's pretty funny. Just wait till he finds out about the part of the cemetery he missed, though.
Did you see the spiders?
The spiders?
There are spiders everywhere in there.
Yeah, there are.
I saw a web, and I counted 12 garden spiders in it.
Really?
It was massive, and it was just like, well, that's what I counted. I don't know how many there were.
Yeah.
But some of them were that big around. Spider, 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 spider over there. And then there was one place with another web. It was way up high, and there was a gigantic spider in the middle of it.
Really?
Did you find some other spiders?
Man, I saw a bunch of spiders out there too when I was out shooting all the other graves in the woods out here.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Darn it. Darn it. Hey, I said that they were mine since you had gone back to the car and didn't wait around for me. I was walking along this road. I'm actually waiting for Brian to get finished filming the part of the cemetery that I already filmed, and saw this old house in the woods. It looks like there's a lived-in house right beside it, so we're not going to get too close, but we'll look at it over the fence. Alright, so the next stop on our little excursion with Brian today is, spoiler alert for his video, Plains, Georgia, home of Jimmy Carter. So we're not going to look around here too much. We're going to let that be on Brian's video. But I will show you a place that's got some family history for Brian and myself. It's around the corner down here. So here's this really cool Coca-Cola sign on the side of this building here that I'm about to tell you a little bit about. It's got some personal history, but I think maybe the banner on the YouTube channel has a picture of my 51 Ford sitting in front of this sign. So this building right here, I believe this first entranceway here would have been my great-grandfather. Used to be the town chief of police down here in Plains, Georgia, way back when, and this was his office. Now you can't see in there too well, at least I can't. It might show up better on the camera. I don't know what the condition of it is now, but that's what it used to be. My family's originally from down in this area. Obviously. So it's pretty cool, a row of buildings that's not used. Like most of the main strip in Plains is used and decorated, and there's all sorts of touristy stuff there, but this building from 1912, as the marble indicates up there, has family history connected to myself and Brian, and it now sits looking kind of run down, except for that pretty Coca-Cola sign. Now, Plains, Georgia was a place that I visited many times as a kid with family, because family was down here. In fact, my great-grandmother's house is, or was, located right behind that little service station right there. It was moved to a new location, but it's still within family. And that, all this industrial farm stuff down here, I don't know what the exact word I'm looking for is, always fascinated me as a kid. But this is it. This is where we are now, down in Plains, Georgia. You'll see more of it in Brian's upcoming video, which will be released on the channel soon. Plains is known for two things, Jimmy Carter and peanuts. And there ain't no better way to cool off on a hot summer day in the South than with some peanut butter ice cream and a nice cold peach knee-high. That's good. So here's something really cool. Alongside the roadway down here, you see these crosses every now and again. And without paying too much attention, you might think that they were just some kind of religious marker. But they're not. They're old road signs pointing to towns and places that don't exist anymore. Like Magnolia Springs. That's one of the videos that Brian did when he was down here, and it's up on the channel. He went to the Magnolia Springs Cemetery. I forgot the name of the video, but it's on the channel. The other one is Kids Mill, an old mill. And I'm not sure when these signs date to, but you can see them, like I said, every now and again you'll see one just off the road. Usually they're hidden by trees and overgrowth, but this one stands where you can see it, pointing to places that simply don't exist anymore. Alright, well, I hope you've enjoyed the video today. We saw some pretty cool stuff. Bottle dump, an old cemetery, and road sign, and an old church. That's going to be on a separate video that you've probably already seen by now. But thanks, Brian, for letting us tag along.
Oh, my pleasure.
With you today. I know Brian's been down here for the past several weekends out here shooting some video for his upcoming project. Brian, you want to tell us a little bit about the video? I mean, obviously Plains, Georgia's going to be in it, kind of a spoiler for your video, but tell us what you're doing.
Okay, the subject of this upcoming project is, I grew up watching Georgia Public Television, and I don't really watch it much now, or like at all, but there's also Georgia Public Radio. And being someone who grew up in Georgia, and has traveled around Georgia quite a bit, still a lot of places I have yet to go, but there's a lot of history here, and it's just really wonderful. And I was looking on YouTube. Now I'm sure there's probably some stuff I didn't find, but I was looking for stuff that people shot on Sumter County, and I wasn't seeing much. I was seeing some old, badly shot, really grainy, because it was back before we had the high def, that people shot this stuff. Seeing some of these projects or shows on YouTube, but nothing was like of the quality of what you would see on GPTV. And I'm not claiming that mine will be. There's definitely going to be, you know, a noticeable difference between mine and what you see there. But what you see on YouTube, there's just not much. And a lot of the stuff that I notice is not necessarily the things that people focus on when they make these shows. You know, they do the Jimmy Carter stuff. I did the Jimmy Carter stuff. But like out in the country, and it's going to be in parts, but out in the country, you know, the fields, the edges of fields, the old houses, long forgotten, still owned by somebody, but long forgotten as a home anyway. The little things out of the corner of your eye that you really don't pay much attention to. I'm hoping to put it up there so it gives a little something nicer on YouTube that people can see, and maybe, you know, work out my artistic muscles a little bit and try to get better at making a show like that. And I'm planning for it to be on the Sidestep Adventures page, and maybe make another page, you know, to display the stuff, or, you know, send it out to some people maybe. Who knows? The sky's the limit. But that's the meat of it. A little of the history, a little of what you can do now, a little of the places that you can go and see, and we'll see how it turns out.
And I've seen what Brian has shot and edited so far, and it looks great. So stay tuned for that. Do you know what it's going to be called yet? Have you come up with a name?
Well, at the beginning of it, I did an intro called "Join Me as I Traipse Around the Countryside." That is actually not meant to be the the title of the show. I haven't really settled on a title yet. It may just be one view of Sumter County, or a wanderer's view of Sumter County, or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but I don't really have a working title.
All right, well, just keep an eye out for it. It'll be up on the Sidestep Adventure channel pretty soon. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.